Hey everybody, hope you've recovered from your eclipse. I don't remember a thing about it. I think I blacked out. I'm going to talk to you today about emails. It's probably the thing we traffic in most, and yet we just go ahead and do them without really any thought of what they're looking like, how we use subjects, how we forward, our grammar, any of that. But I'm going to tell you right now that since the bulk of what we do is via email, we need to really make sure that we are presenting ourselves in a professional, not stodgy way every time we send emails to clients and businesses and other agents and so on and so forth. So bear with me. I really hope that you take a couple things from this tech talk about how to make your email presentation better. Just be careful when you forward emails. So here's a chain of emails after my tech talk last week about Zillow, and I got a few responses. Joey was nice enough to say nice work or whatever. So this is email number 18, and if I forward to whomever, so let's just send it to myself. Just make sure you know what you're forwarding. Okay, forwarded message, you've got this noise here, you've got her noise here, you've got my noise, you've got more noise from me, and then more noise from me. If you're doing this to a client, that's a lot of noise to try to sift through to get the tiny bit of information that is actually relevant. Obviously, if you need the chain uh, and for documentation purposes, go ahead and use that. But just know that sometimes emails are going to attach more to your forward than you would like them to, and I just don't want anyone in our company to get themselves in trouble because they attached a they forwarded an email that had a snarky bit in it, and the client reads through it all because there's so much noise. What am I even looking at here? And the next thing you know, the client sees that you and another agent were bad mouthing someone or that person. Just be careful. When you do forward something, there's a woman from Lux Magazine coming to town and she wanted to meet with me. I'm going to forward this to a couple agents who maybe would think about using Lux. Okay, so let's forward it to me and to Kathy, our MD here. But did you know that when you forward, you can edit the subject so it just doesn't say FWD and then whatever else? You go here to this arrow and you drop down and you can edit the subject right here. So instead of it saying forward meeting in Sun Valley next week, because if it's coming from me, they're going to be like, what? You can say, you can change it to Kathy, please take a look, or something that is a little bit more relevant to the person you're forwarding it to. Okay, so that is how you edit the subject when you forward an email, keeping in mind that forwarding emails is dangerous. Please be careful. Don't get yourself in trouble. Next little tidbit of email love I want to share with you is using bullets and spaces and your bold font feature to make your emails easier to read and to highlight the information that you want to make sure they are getting from it, because we all know that we read emails with about 25% intensity, and so make sure that that 25% is being used to get the information that needs to be received. So sending this to myself, and I'm coming up with a cool subject. Did you know? When I say something like that, people are going to be like, did I know what? And they're going to read your email. So this is like 3 paragraphs of information, and people are probably going to skip over some of the stuff in the first paragraph because it's 3 lines of text, and we all have difficulty paying attention. So I want to make sure that they read the things about me. Here's a little background on me. So in order to get all of this stuff sort of highlighted, I'm going to just do a really quick formatting thing. I'm going to return after each of my sentences, okay? So that my computer knows that these are all different little distinct pieces of text. My desk, and now I'm going to highlight the pieces that I want to stand out, okay? And I come down here to my formatting toolbar, and I can number them or I can bullet them, and I want to bullet them. Now they stand out a little bit. I always get rid of that other space there. Um, so that's how you bullet things, and I think it makes it easier to process and digest as the reader to have things segmented like this. The next thing I want to show you is that I think a little bold goes a long way. Now that I've shared some things about me and my work history, here's the piece I really want them to capture from this, is this piece here. So I'm going to highlight that and I'm going to push bold. And so I'm pretty sure that when the person opens the email, they're going to see 4 bullets that they can digest really quickly. We love bulleted lists, bam, bam, bam. And then they're going to see this piece here. Will you please tell me about yours? That's the information I know they're going to pick up. And so I've gotten across the important stuff in my opinion. Next piece of advice is that when you are creating an email with lots of recipients, use the BCC. Okay, how do you do this? Email it to yourself, and over here, CC means carbon copy. BCC means blind carbon copy, which means that all the people receiving it are not going to see everybody else's email addresses. They're only going to see theirs and yours. This is useful in so many situations, but I also think it's just courteous. If I'm on an email, I don't want a bunch of other people, maybe that I've never met, seeing my email address. I don't want people knowing if I'm the sender of the email, all the people I included or didn't include. It's noisy, it looks unprofessional, it's unsophisticated to have 54 email addresses pop up when you open something. So use the BCC. So click on that and you can type in people's addresses just like normal, Alexi. And when I send this, then Kathy is only going to see her name and my name. She's not going to see Teresa's or Alexi's. No one's going to feel bad that they were left out. No one's going to feel like, oh, I've got included with that group. Use the BCC when you are sending emails to more than 3 people if you think there's any possibility for someone taking umbrage to the fact that they were or were not on a list. Okay? Another thing I want everyone to pay attention to is your email signature that is at the bottom of all of your emails, especially those of you in Grand Junction who have moved offices and those of you in Bozeman who have just joined our company. Please make sure that your information is correct. Got this from Keith about 7 days ago. He's the MD in Grand Junction and Montrose, and they've just moved offices. Here's the old address, and the new one is some downtown address. Just make sure that all of your information is correct. So I think Keith has already updated this. I just wanted to show that here he is recruiting people. He wants to be on the front end of making sure all of his stuff is current and looking professional. How did he get all this stuff here? He uses a program that several agents use called WiseStamp. You see it right there, WISESTAMP.com. If you want to have some graphic images in your signature, you kind of have to go that way. You pay for it a little bit, but I think it really ups the game of what your signature looks like. So just make sure this all says what you want. Don't get all crazy with fonts and don't get too crazy with a bunch of sayings and everything, but it has to reflect you. It has to reflect the company. So you're doing a couple things at the same time. The last piece I would say about this is make sure that your profile information is up to date and looking the way you want it to. If you need to know how to change all of this, we can certainly work together on that. It's a fairly involved process, but make sure you've got an up-to-date photo and that all of your information that shows is correct. Okay, because your signature is the last thing people see and it goes on every single email, so it makes a statement every single time you send an email. Make sure it's making a good statement. All right, I know that was a lot of stuff, and it's just email, Mr. Education Director, but you use email more than probably anything, and so you got to make sure that you know the best practices for email, that you're always putting your best presence forward when you send emails to other agents, to your clients, to people, to your colleagues. Be professional in your emails, clean stuff up, and be consistent with your look and the way you approach them, and it's going to pay off in the long run. I really believe that. Have a great week. The more you know, the more you sell, and keep up all the wonderful work. Bye-bye.